right, so basically what we have going on here in the trunk, we're gonna do a subwoofer setup. It's gonna be a 10-inch Martin Logan right in the center. So here I got my false wall. All I'm gonna do is take it out, put it on a piece of MDF, and then cut it perfectly the way it is here. Probably make some minor adjustments. And then we're gonna have ourselves a false wall, and behind that, we're gonna build the actual enclosure for the sub. And basically, right here, this little circle, you could kind of see it there, is the stock location. We're just gonna run those wires straight into the speaker box down there with some quick disconnects. All right, so since I'm getting started on this false wall, I gotta see how much actual room I got for the sub. And by doing this, I gotta come back here to the back seats, open this up, and then measure how far the cardboard sits to the back of the seats. And I already did the measuring. Up top is 6 inches and down here is 12. We don't have too much room to work with, but we're gonna make this work. Let's see what I can come up with. It's gotta be clean, nicely lit, and overall, dope. Let's take these seats off though. So these screws are a pain in the butt to get to and especially to put back on, but basically there's one screw here, one screw here, one screw on the other side, and one screw down there, another screw here, and another screw here. So let's see what that looks like when I take it off. And then also when you're done, there's a little tab right here. You'll feel it. You basically just pull it forward and then this whole thing lifts up. You push it down, pull the clip, and then it comes up. And now you do the other side. Once you find that clip, pull it out this way, push the seat down, and then it just unclips like that. So this is a little tab that you have to pull towards you. And once you do that, it's gonna have some resistance. So what you do is you kind of just put your hand over where this clip is, push it down on the seat, and that'll release tension, giving you enough time to pull this out, and the seat just pops up after that. So right now, since I'm gonna be taking off the C-pillars, the like little plastic that goes there, it's gonna kind of be close to the airbags. So I seen a video to disconnect your battery because these store a little bit of power. I'm gonna put the key in so it drains it completely, and then we'll go from there. So I'm gonna be removing this little clip right here, and then this whole thing should just pop out, and then this rear deck right here should just push up. And I'm just gonna slide the seatbelts through that little opening right there in the middle, and we should be good to go. For this little part right here, you kind of have to wedge a flathead on this side and on this side until it has enough, until you have enough room to like actually pull it out. What I learned is you could just do this, peel the molding back, kind of give it one good tug. There we go. And then you just slowly put your hand back here and then pop it. Like, I guess that works too. So now that this whole thing is out, you apparently just put your hand in here, push the deck up on each side, and then you slide these seatbelts through this little crack right here, and you should be good to go. So right here, I'm gonna give it one good push upward. There we go, in the center. There we are. And there she goes. This is probably the first time in this car's existence this actually comes out. Let me show you what I'm looking at. So these are the two speakers here, and then this is the sub right in the middle. It's paper, it's not good at all. It rattles the whole deck because it's so close to this plastic and it's just rattling everywhere. Let's take the speaker off, and we're actually just gonna test fit the other one. So we're gonna get the negative and the positive, run it down to here, put the seats back up, and then turn up the bass and see how that sounds. Up here, the sub has some 8mm screws in it. So I got the two cables right here. I'm no longer going to be using this clip because I'm not using the stock subwoofer. So I'm going to use my little pliers over here and snip that off. But once we do that, there's no going back, only forward from here. So I'm going to be splicing this one. I'm going to put some electrical tape on this one, and then this one is going to that one right there. The battery's disconnected, and then we're going to put some electrical tape around that. The end of this cable all the way to the other side, we're going to connect to the subwoofer. See what that sounds like. So we're gonna be using this bad boy right here. Sheesh. Martin Logan. Ooh, this belongs in a house, but the TL is big enough to be a house. So it works out. We're gonna hook it up to these terminals right here. And let's see. Okay, so I'm completely blown away. So we turned it on, and the fact that there was no door here, it just kind of sounded like I really didn't even do anything. But the second we kind of ghetto rigged it and we put this up against it and we like applied pressure, it sounds like a totally different bass system inside of the car. And then also another thing that I had just realized, my dash cover actually covers the tweeters that are up here. So when I had it down, I didn't really realize, but it was just muffling all that like crisp sound. So what I'm gonna have my mom do is actually, she's gonna cut the hole in there and then stitch it so it looks pretty like nice, I guess, to allow all that like sound to come out, and that totally changes the inside of the car too. So I'm pretty excited to get started on this. I think I'm gonna leave it at this for tonight, but tomorrow we're gonna cut out the false wall out of MDF, and then I'll update you guys tomorrow. All right, so since the sub is gonna be right here in the center, I have to create two ports, two vertical ports. I already have them made. They're gonna be pointing up here, but as you guys know, this thing has a liner. I currently took it off, but it has a liner and there's no opening here where the stock subwoofer went. You guys can see that opening right here. It's covered. So now what I did is I added this mesh and I made a hole. So this is kind of what it's looking like. It got a little torn up here, it doesn't really matter, not visible at all, and there's still like insulation. I managed to glue it down. But this is what it looks like on the inside. Very clean hole, nice and centered. This thing isn't centered. I measured it. This is perfectly centered, and you guys can see the mesh in there. This is actually gonna allow me to have the base coming in to the cab and then hitting the glass and then diving towards the front, you know? So it's gonna sound a lot better without having to use too much power. So this is a false wall setup I have. I still have to add a little piece to this side right here, all the way on the right hand side. But everything else is pretty much good to go. And the reason I kind of did it all the way back there is because if I ever need to use my spare tire, it bends right for it. So it's kind of perfect. Now that the cutout is out of the trunk, I went ahead and did the outline on the piece of MDF, and this MDF is 3/4 of an inch. And then we're also going to be using a Dremel to sand down the back edges of it so that it fits more snug. This is made about 1/8 of an inch bigger than the actual cutout because we want it to fit snug in there and all the gaps to be covered. So we're going to cut this out. So basically, there are screws in the back of here, but as you can see, there's no head on these screws. So my whole thing is, I'm pretty sure that the screws are under this bezel. So I have to take this bezel off, but it's kind of hard to like get your fingers under it. So I just use these pry bars here, and I put one across so it's not really touching the bezel. And then I slid it underneath here and then slowly pried it off. And it just kind of had like a little adhesive, so that's why it wasn't coming off just by using your hands, but it's off now. And we just have to cut this perfect circle into that MDX box right there, right in the center. And then we're gonna drop this ring and it should be nice and seamless, and we're gonna reuse these screws. All right, Batty, so now that I got this kind of in there, I just assembled this speaker box. I got a speaker right here with a trim, and I got these ports right here. Sorry, garage is a mess. Now we're gonna move on to cutting out the actual enclosure for the sub. Oh, my dad's gonna do it. Okay. This is gonna be the back panel of the sub box, and basically I got the top piece that's gonna mount to here, and then I got the bottom piece that's measuring in at 7 inches. So 7 inches up top, and then we got 11 inches at the bottom, and we're gonna mount it about a ½ inch away from the edge. That way there's kind of like a taper in the back of the trunk, so we have to fill that in with like some little legs or something at the bottom. Yeah. Damn, my back. So now that this box is up in there, we're gonna cut out the hole for the sub, and then we're gonna mount the ring around it. So she's gonna be looking a little something like that. Okay, so now we just kind of pre-built the box. We're gonna loosen these screws about a ½ inch, and then back this off so I can put some wood glue in it, and then tighten it up with slightly like longer screws. Basically, this is the perfect cutout for the trunk, and then we got the pieces here for the actual sub enclosure. We'll continue tomorrow. It's a bunch to clean up. So my dad just cut these door panels, or these side, I guess, covers, and we're gonna go ahead and put these on, put some glue on it, put some screws in it, and it should be pretty reinforced. Put some glue all along the edge, even up top, and then now we're just kind of smacking it on either side until it's lightly in there. Get it nice and flush. I'm gonna put some wood glue here, just to make it nice and smooth. Now that that's on there, we're just putting some, since there's gonna be a lot of base in here, we're just putting some glue in here to fill up all the gaps so it reinforces it, makes it strong, no rattles. This is the terminal I'm gonna be using. You guys can see, you put the wire right through that and you let it go and it'll pinch it. So we got positive, we got negative. I'm just gonna cut out a circle, push it on in there, and then route these cables into the box. For these cables, I soldered them on, and then I put some heat shrink and then pinched the tops of them. So this isn't gonna go anywhere because all the bass that's being produced by the speaker hitting this thing, it'll loosen over time if you use these nuts on there. So yeah, permanent solution. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add an angle here. So it's probably gonna be like a 45-degree angle, or maybe add some design to it, basically, so this matches with this and it'll like curve up to it. And then we're gonna fill this gap here. We're actually gonna lay the speaker on this first wall, and then on the second wall, we're gonna have enough room to actually set this trim in. So right now I'm making the holes for the ports. Basically, I want these ports as close to the center as possible. So basically, it's gonna go something like this. We have this port right here that I made a circle for, and I put like a little mesh in it. So basically, I want it as close to the center as possible, so when it hits, it goes through that hole and into the cab. Point me to the nearest molding. I got no idea where it is. No. All right, let's go, let's go. We need some molding that's 3/4. Ooh, this one looks pretty nice. Is it gonna be this first one? I literally pulled up to the aisle and this is exactly the size I need and the style I'm going for. And this will help it taper from that border down to the false wall. Perfect, let's go. We're at the local Joann's Fabric. So here we're gonna be looking for the insulation that goes inside the box so we can get a deep, nice base overall. My dad had some, he just didn't have enough. Oh, that puppy's cute. He just didn't have enough, so catch us here at the local Joann. This is the one. I think it's about like 1 inch thick. This is gonna be going inside. I don't know if I should just take this whole thing over there. But I'm gonna. And probably get, how much do you think? I'm thinking 1.5 yards. Wait, am I supposed to? I could lift it. beautiful. This gap right here, this little spacing, is so I can allow the fabric to actually weave in to here, and also have the other fabric on this panel weave into there. So it'll be perfect. So you guys know I went to Joann's Fabric and I got this, I don't even know what to call it. But yeah, this is basically what you use inside of a subwoofer. Make the walls nice and padded. It's about an inch thick, maybe 3/4 of an inch thick. You guys can see it better like that. There it is. And now we're just stapling it to the inside of the box. Like such. It's gonna look nice and soft when it's done. Now that that side's tucked nicely, and so is this side, put some staples on there. Nice. We're ready to drop the speaker in, wire it up, and see what it sounds like. Okay, so now that the ports are on, you guys can see how they look on the inside. They're about like 3 inches from the bottom of the speaker. And that's gonna allow for the air to come up through there and into the cab through the hole up top. And then connect the terminals at the back to the sub, and then close the doors, turn the car on, see what that sounds like. So here's the speaker. I used 3 screws just to hear what it sounds like. I put the insulation inside, I put the ports, and the terminals are in the back. And I'm gonna be able to access this terminal when I'm sitting in the back seat and I put down the back seat, the middle seat cover that leads into the trunk. First thing you see when you open that door is gonna be these terminals. So I can disconnect and then just push the speaker out whenever I need to. That's it. We're gonna put the moldings at the end and then wrap everything in felt and then put that bezel over it. And I'm excited to see what it sounds like. Let's plug it in. All right, what song? I'm playing The Weeknd. This right here is cut to 10 inches and it perfectly sets in. You can see how it just needs a little bit of pressure to go in smooth. And then that's what it looks like in the front. And then we have a little gap right here where I'm gonna tuck the LED under this so that it's just gonna illuminate. It'll be a nice soft like red or whatever. It's gonna be multiple colors that I could change. It's not really even prepped right here. Let's stand it up. That looks hella nice, dude. Wow. Hey baddies, that is the final product. That's a 10-inch Martin Logan, basically home subwoofer that we retrofit into the Acura TL, into BADCURA. And then you guys can notice there's a little gap right here. There's gonna be an RGB light that's gonna be tunneled back through here. There's gonna be a little hole here. And basically it's gonna be like a color changing LED light that illuminates just this. And then we have the outlets for the speaker here. There's still some little parts sticking out. But we got the outlets here. They go all the way down there, about like 3 inches from the floor of here. And like I said, this is gonna funnel into that hole that's on the roof there. And then here's the terminals, and these will hold the cables in. But yeah, it took forever, but I really like the outcome, and now let's see it in the trunk. Jesus. I just want y'all to check that out. Oh my god, dude. This doesn't even have any light coming to it, but this is freaking amazing. So this is a cable that I'm using, and this cable right here is a stock subwoofer cable. So now what I'm doing is just I'm kind of tying these on together and then heat shrinking them so I don't have any issues in the future. And then I'm also going to put electrical tape around, probably up to like here, and then route this cable down underneath here and have it just pop out right around here, and then curve here, give it about like 2-3 inches of slack, that way it's not too tense on there, and then plug it up just like that. And that's what we're left with. Each one is individually heat shrunk, and then I put a bigger heat shrink at the end, slid it over all the way to the middle right here, and then I just heated it up, you know, and it's not going to go anywhere. So I'm going to now route this into here. So it's successfully routed down into this hole underneath here. I wrapped it in some extra tape besides the rubber that was already around it, or this material that was already around it. So I wrapped it all the way down to here, and then you guys can see how I split it off into the terminal, positive and negative. Alright, so basically this is a little system that we're going to be using. This plugs into there, and this plugs into a cigarette lighter, and then there's 2 LED lights here. And then you put these tubes inside the LED light so that when it lights up, it diffuses throughout the whole tube. But what my dad recommended is this cable, if we cut it right here, it's probably not going to reach the trunk light, which is where we're going to be getting our power from. It's not going to reach to the back of the speaker. So what he did is he gave me this cable here, and this cable is for one longer, and then it actually plugs into here perfectly. And now we have the length we need, and we don't have to cut this one if I ever want to use this in the interior. I still have the cigarette lighter. So now the hole is drilled up here, and we just had to funnel it through, connect the LED lights, and then route it out to here. And then we just figured out that this black cable is negative, obviously, and then this is the positive. So let's just wire it in. So now what I'm doing is I'm going to put this RGB like light diffuser in here, and as you guys can see, that sits pretty flush. So really the wood's going to be right here, and on the inside it's going to look like this. You're not even going to be able to like know it's there. So I'm going to start hot gluing it right here all the way around, and then leave about 8 inches of slack so that the lights can be connected to each end. One end here, it's gonna go around, and then I'm gonna cut it another 8 inches up here, and you guys will see what that looks like. So now I'm gonna run these through here. Like that. There it is. So now I'm just tightening up the LEDs, and I'm just gonna test it, see what it looks like. It's just rough. All right, so the wire's finally routed. All I have to do is kind of roll this up, plug it in. I put the wire here. Here's a little Bluetooth module. Here's the extra wire, and I Velcroed this down to here, and I Velcroed this down to here. And then this is where it enters there. I gotta vacuum that up a little bit. And then let's try it. Let's just see it when it's on. Well, baddies, there she is. If I cover this, it has like a gradiating effect. The brand is this one. It's on Amazon. This is the brand, Kikimo. It's made for the Tesla like center consoles. But yeah, it has this little code right here that you could scan, and it'll let you download the app. And the app is really simple to use. You don't even have to do any setup. It literally, you plug it in and it finds it, and that's it. You could change the colors and choose what pattern you want. If you want it to like strobe, if you want it to breathe, which is what I have it on, it like gets brighter and it dims out and it changes color. It could do a whole bunch of stuff, and it has like a whole color wheel you could choose colors from, and the brightness of it too. Highly recommend it. And this is what we're left with. Very clean, simple setup. If I cover this, see it a lot better. I'm very, very happy about it. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I've been out of it for a minute, but updates for the truck are coming soon. I also got a couple goodies for this car that I'm gonna be slapping on. Sorry about the wait, guys, but we're back in business.